A famous journalist not only in Zimbabwe but in the world, Hopewell Chin'ono, akanyora achiresponda kana kuti achipa view yake concerning kuboycott kwakaitwa parliamentary address yaED nema-CCC members of parliament. Akati, my view on the boycott is that it is their right if it collectively choose to stay away from parliament, but every decision and even right has to be strategic, and it must have an end game instead of just being petulant or emotional. The great Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu said, "It is the unemotional, reserved, calm, detached warrior who wins, not the hot-seated seeking vengeance." Don't respond to issues out of an emotional reflex. Know your enemy and plan properly. CCC must calculate its strength and be aware of the things within its control and grasp. And more importantly, it must calculate the risk associated with taking such actions. ED went after Chamisa's MDCA and destroyed it using state apparatus because he felt humiliated. He went after them because he could. Today he suffered similar humiliation addressing only his ZANU-PF parliamentarians in front of diplomats. If I were CCC, I would calculate the risk associated with the backlash and whether I had the tools to fight back if confronted in this particular battle of a long-term war. Mnangagwa's actions are predictable. He will more likely dock the salaries and allowances of CCC MPs. He will also move to stop the disbursement of their political party act funds. The risk of CCC MPs losing their allowances is associated with creating cracks in the party. Some who use their money for campaigns will feel that they need a return and not to continue losing money. There are CCC MPs who don't have jobs and some who have never worked their whole life. Parliament is their job or career. If they disobey Chamisa, they will risk a recall. But such a move would tempt Mnangagwa into instructing the Speaker of Parliament from blocking such a recall. Once that happens, such an MP is lost. Mnangagwa will immediately pamper them with an eye on his much-needed two-third majority as he did with Monzora and his MPs. The second issue is of the political party's acting fund. The risk associated with that, it will be stopped, and this will financially cripple CCC as a political party. These two risks associated with boycotting parliament can be appealed in the courts of law, but we all know from history that the courts of law are on whose side politically. One would be correct to argue that Mnangagwa has no such power, as with many other things that his regime has done, including jailing Job Sikala without bail, but Mnangagwa and his team don't care about what the world thinks of them when it comes to their self-preservation. The key question is that if this happened, was the boycott worth it? Did the boycott contribute towards any new awareness around what we already know, that the election was shambolic? The third and most fundamental question is whether Chamisa and CCC have any options available to fight back, since we know that the courts are not an option. So this is how I saw the boycott. If the boycott has an end game, it was worth it. If it was a leadership collective decision, and if the MPs are prepared to stand with their leader, if their livelihood is threatened, then it was worth it. If Chamisa has the means to fight back, if Mnangagwa moves in as he did in 2018, then it was worth it again. But if he doesn't have those pertinent things, then it was an empty gesture that might be used to come after him and his party. Lastly, Sun Tzu suggests that knowing your risk is not enough to ensure your success. Knowledge of the processes that may create the risk is also crucial for success. Considering risk in a vacuum is only half a solution. He said, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need to fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy or know yourself, you succumb in every battle. This is the response. Yamkoma hope. Can I hear the hope, guys? In the comment section, please tell us what you think, especially about the boycott yakaitwa nema members at CCC pa address yaka address kwa na mukuru ku parliament, new parliament building in Zimbabwe.